Overall, I'd say that my year went well. I found the work quite challenging, but it was good challenging. You get to do both group and individual projects. I personally prefer my individual projects because you get control over, the way your work is. Our experience of first year was very much, looking through laptops on Zoom calls until eventually we were allowed into studio in March time, which meant that I could finally meet people on my course.
For every project, you guys will be in sort of like tutor groups, and because you guys are working so close together, I think it's kind of nice to get to know your tutor groups as well. For us, we were in the same room, so that was kind of nice. So we could get to know each other a lot more. Yeah, it was just nice. Like after projects, we'll kind of like go to Library, eat something, be like, yay, we're done.
First of all, I had a lot of fun during the first semester, meeting new people and meeting some of my batchmates and exploring different places with them. So, for example, I had the opportunity to visit the Stonehenge with some of my architecture peers, and I was able to travel to Bristol with my flatmates. Just kind of like look around and sightsee and do like touristy things, because most of us were international kids. So it was really fun to experience new things with new people and step out of your comfort zones. And on that aspect, it was really, really fun and really, really enjoyable. But I would be honest and say that my first semester wasn't all that lovely because of mental health issues. But I would say that I do not regret going back to Bath in my first semester, no matter how, I wouldn't say bad, but no matter how uncertain the situation was, because it definitely allowed me to get acquainted with Bath. And now that I'm returning for this coming academic year, I feel a lot more like confident and secure about going back.
Now, first semester was pretty challenging considering the fact that I had the time difference between India and UK and attending classes throughout the day from the morning. But it was quite a good experience for me first semester because I actually started to learn about the starting intricacies about architecture. Our first group project was the Solus project, which we had in tandem with the civil engineers. I made some good friends. I was obviously not in person there at all, so I was constantly coordinating with them via Zoom, attending meetings till like 12 in the night, so that I could have some sort of input in the work which I did. Another thing that was really great was learning about the different styles of architecture. That was history, and also learning about structures and how various forces act upon buildings. That was a common course that we had with the civil engineers as well.
I couldn't have made a better decision, I think, because it was super rewarding to be on campus, especially in terms of the course. Once studio opened, it was just so beneficial to have that separation between like my room, like my personal space and my relaxed downtime space versus like workspace. And I think we kind of abused our use of studio because we kind of had strict hours, but we kind of went past that.
It's really amazing. The campus is not too big, not too small, and because everyone is going to be pretty much living on campus for the first year especially, it's so convenient to just go see your friends. It's a really great experience. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I really wish I could have been there this year as well. If you have the chance to be on campus this year, just make the most out of it. Join societies or just meet new people, yeah.
I think that the lows and the highs of architecture for me were very low and very high. I think that my group projects went super well because I'm just used to working in that sort of group setting, and I do love individual work, but I think as someone who has never experienced winter, I think winter and lack of sunlight hit me really hard. And just as the individual projects came in and when I didn't have any more group members to sort of rely on, I wish I had, but I didn't really reach out to enough people. And my work really suffered as a result of me not reaching out for help soon enough, and I actually turned in my individual projects late as well as incomplete. And I think the really, really low points for me are just looking back at my incomplete design reports and realizing how much potential I guess my project had, and that I just didn't seem to live up, or my work didn't seem to live up to the ideas that I had. One of the best moments I think was when all our projects were done and a few of us sat in studio together after hours and built a bread model of the Notre Dame, which we endearingly called Notre Pan. Excuse my incredibly disgusting pun on that. I'm so sorry for my bad humor, but I just think that was one of the most rewarding things, because even if I had messed up, even if things hadn't gone the way that I had planned, there are just some memories that really stick out.
My first year went quite well, although COVID was quite annoying. I started a great year and a good first experience into architecture, and I would say my highest point was probably finishing my first individual project. The first individual project that I did, it was really fun, and I got the chance to explore different techniques in model making and also the technical drawings. But it was quite daunting to do this project because it was the first one. But I had a really nice tutor, and she really helped me guide my project in the right directions. And my lowest point was struggling to do a group project over Zoom.
I guess with the restrictions that COVID imposed and all the uncertainty of everything, my anxiety wasn't really quickly, and it didn't help that my first project met with a lot of issues, a lot of hiccups, mainly because unfortunately one of my architecture peer had to leave school halfway through, and it left me with only 2 engineers in my team, and even then one of them was doing remotely. So effectively we only had 2 working members on campus, and even then I think communication was a little bit difficult because of our differences in work ethic and expectations for the project. And so it was really hard to form relationships past the working level, and so it felt really isolating, and yeah, I think my anxiety worsened quite a bit because of it.
But the most fun I had was when I actually came to Bath in second semester for the final project, which was when I really thought it was about time that I had. What was most challenging about the final project was the sheer amount of work that we had to do, and the shift of the pattern of studying that I've learned for the 13 years of education of my life in India, and the style of teaching that they have done in Bath. They've provided us with all the tools, but then what the actual work that we have to do is by ourselves. We have to research about what the different types of building materials that we're going to be using. We have to refer older drawings through Architectural Digest and so on and so forth. So the main bulk of the work is on us, and considering the fact that this project was a solo project, it was quite a big chunk of work that I had to do by myself. There was the model making, there was the complete set of drawings which I had to complete, and of course there was the time where my entire design scheme had to be changed from scratch because the fact that it wasn't really working out, and that was just 3 days before the interim review, so it got quite hectic at times. There was the one entire night where I stayed up and I finished my entire submission so that I could get it submitted timely.
Okay, so in the second semester I came back to Singapore, right? And I think that was a great decision for me because of where my mental health was at during that point of time, and being back with family and the familiar environment of my home country, it was really helpful. So I actually learned a lot during my second semester, and I was able to experiment a lot more because I also have the luxury of space here with a much bigger room than my uni accommodation. So yeah, for the second semester, learning was also very streamlined because my tutors noted my time difference and they would cater to me and put me first with the tutorials and the crits. So a typical tutorial would start at around 5 and end by 6 p.m. for me, and so that was okay. And then even for the crits, I would sit through the entire thing, and the latest it would ever get would be around 1 a.m, which was fine as well. Yeah, I enjoyed learning on those, even with those timings. And I got used to them relatively quickly. And because of how well established the online platforms were, I was able to like still communicate with some of my group mates, tutor mates, and I was able to be like, I love your project, and we were purely on Zoom and like seeing each other and just reaching out and just texting each other on WhatsApp, being like, oh, how did you do this? Could you help me with this? Everybody was really nice, and everybody was really open to like sharing their work processes, even though we couldn't see each other's work physically. And yeah, I think the familiarity of being at home allowed me to not feel too FOMO about missing out like social experiences back in school.
In terms of like your first individual project, it really just helps to go around studio and just like ask around how other people's design process is, because you get to see how differently everyone works, and then you get to try out what works best for you. And obviously I think first year is a great year to just experiment, keep trying different things, because you have the opportunity to do that.
I feel that particularly with your individual projects, it's important that you keep on top of every section. I found that I left sections behind and then had to rush to get it done, close to the deadline. So my tip is to make sure you keep on top of all aspects of the brief.
So if I have any advice to give anyone, it would be get your network of friends, or just as many friends as you want. I promise it's not as hard as it seems. I thought it was going to be super hard. I was super scared, but I managed to overcome it. I just didn't manage to overcome it to the point where I could have reached out sooner for help. I think courses like architecture, we all get to rely on each other because we know how much work there is, and we know that slip-ups can be really detrimental to our work. So we do actually support each other, and I think that's what's so great about all the architecture students. Like, I wish I had made more friends in my course. I guess that was just the sort of detriment to the COVID-19 pandemic when we didn't get to meet up. And I actually don't know a lot of my course mates, which I hope I get to know them a bit better in second year. What I did say to most of my peers at the end of the year was that I'm 100% sure that I picked the right course. I just don't know if I'm as confident in my grades, which sucks to say, but I also want to say that grades are not maybe as important as you think. I think it is so much more important to have fun. Have fun with your work, because then it will show. And if you're having fun, if you're taking in feedback and really working on it, then I think you're gonna have a great time. Like, don't worry too much about it.
For group projects, we have fun with this project, as the workload can be split between you, and it gives you a chance to have fun. And for individual projects, definitely manage your time well, and it will pay off in the end.
I would say that if anybody is ever facing a similar predicament to mine, always reach out to your studio coordinator. I remember reaching out to Martin, and he really helped ease some of my worries, and yeah, just really assuring me that everything will be okay and things are never as bad as they seem. Yeah, but I guess if I were to give advice to my first semester self, I would say that I should have embraced the uncertainty of everything and just embrace being in a new environment and not imposing so many expectations on myself, because I guess, yeah, there's so much uncertainty in everything. So just try and learn as much as you can and form your relationships, and don't pressurize yourself too much about figuring everything out on your first try. But I think with studio opening up this semester, I'm hopeful that we will all have a much more fruitful learning experience and that everybody can enjoy themselves.
Hello, so I hope this video was helpful for you, and please don't hesitate to approach any of your peer mentors for help, or if you ever just need a listening ear. Special thanks to the 6 second-year architecture course mates who spent time to plan and record their videos for this sharing. And to all the first years, good luck, have fun, just go for it. And as Martin always likes to say, May the force be with you.